A train roars through the countryside. Inside, Thomas reads a letter. His sister's life hangs in the balance on a mysterious island. Flashback. In a trembling church, Thomas's father urges him to rescue his sister. Thomas, broken yet determined, prepares for a dangerous journey. Thomas disguises himself, sedates a bottle, and boards with other passengers, heading to the island, blending into the crowd of believers. A guard checks tickets. Thomas's quiet tension masks his plan. He is welcomed onto a creaky boat sailing to the cult's secretive island. On board, a sheep falls into the boat. A man casually tosses it into the sea. Thomas, disturbed, silently questions this brutal place. Arriving, Thomas eyes the foggy hills suspiciously. Something is wrong. This is not just another religious village. It smells of fear and fanaticism. Climbing the green hills, Thomas spots a cross, but up close it's just the wooden frame of an abandoned boat, an ominous misdirection. Further downhill, followers face verification at the cult's checkpoint. Thomas joins Jeremy, a young man secretly in love with a village girl. The guards inspect mouths and eyes, ensuring no outsiders. Jeremy sneaks into Fionne's house while Thomas narrowly passes their harsh scrutiny. Thomas settles in his room, finds a peculiar holy book filled with bizarre symbols, a manual for the cult's twisted theology. He meets Andrea, Malcolm's daughter. She is wiping her face. Thomas offers help, revealing a fleeting moment of kindness amid paranoia. In a moment, guards drag a man away for punishment. Malcolm, the cult leader, glares at Thomas, distrust growing. Thomas blends into the crowd, heading to church. Malcolm preaches their pure faith, boasting of freedom from mainland oppression, a classic cult tactic, luring the desperate with false hope. Guards whisper to Frank, another cult leader. They confront the captured suspect and, after a brutal debate, coldly slit his throat. At a village gathering, music blares. Malcolm and his priests circle Thomas, who keeps his head down, blending in to avoid exposure. At night, Thomas stealthily searches for his sister, peering through windows, witnessing a girl's hand being sliced open for ritual blood. In a short while, he spies Malcolm disappearing into a secret basement. Suddenly, Thomas encounters a young girl and pleads for silence, but they are seen by someone. Thomas explores another house. A booby-trapped key pricks his finger, a cruel reminder that trust is a dangerous currency here. Sketching the layout of the village, Thomas carefully maps an escape route. Every block and passage, a silent war against an unforgiving system. Thomas wakes from a nightmare to Jeremy's urgent knock. They start building a secret boat, the only possible lifeline off this island. Thomas shows Jeremy a picture of Jennifer. Under pressure, Jeremy reveals she is imprisoned for sacrifice to the island's hungry goddess. Thomas demands Jeremy's help in rescuing her. Jeremy promises their fates now intertwined by desperation and the island's tightening grip. Elsewhere, Malcolm and Quinn gruesomely extract a goat fetus, a twisted ritual they claim sustains the island's blessings. Andrea and Fionn discuss Thomas, sensing he is different. Thomas arrives at another inspection scene where suspects are interrogated with brutality. The suspects are examined one by one, and one man lunges at Malcolm with a knife. Thomas, seizing a risky opportunity, subdues the attacker to earn Malcolm's trust, but he is badly wounded. Being grateful to Thomas, Malcolm bleeds his own hand and binds it to Thomas's, marking him as one of them in a disturbingly intimate gesture. Later, Andrea tends Thomas's wound. They talk about faith, hinting that belief on this island is a weapon as much as comfort. Suddenly, chanting erupts outside. Thomas sees his sister paraded through the streets in a bait to draw out her rescuer, which is Thomas. Malcolm keeps shouting in the street calling for the intruder, and Thomas panics. Helpless, Thomas discards the sedative he prepared. Next morning, Jennifer lies abandoned. Fion's father grows suspicious, spying on her. Meanwhile, Jennifer suffers the guards' taunts, trapped in a place that feeds on submission. Andrea secretly delivers food to Jennifer, earning her gratitude. Thomas nearby builds the escape boat while watching Jennifer carried away again. That night at a festival, Thomas shares a brief, tender moment with Andrea before sneaking off to resume their daring escape plan. Cleverly using the festival's noise, Thomas and Jeremy break a basement wall. Quinn, discovering their map, rushes to intercept, but they are gone. Malcolm realizes the breach, grabs his shotgun, and heads to the exit to catch Thomas. But Thomas dives into a bloody sewage tunnel. Malcolm sees a light coming into his direction and shoots another man by mistake. Thomas, crawling through a blood-filled drain, confronts a ghostly presence that unsettles his fragile resolve. Investigating the basement walls, Thomas finds disturbing drawings of old goddess. This island's secret is not divine. It's imprisoned, controlled, and weaponized. Malcolm bleeds his hand over the goddess again. The cult's entire ecosystem, its crops, its power, relies on her slow suffering. Thomas questions faith's worth, recounting how prayers once failed him when he needed God most. His back still bears the burned cross, but Andrea insists faith is more complex. Quinn, meanwhile, grows suspicious and increasingly dangerous as Jeremy and Fionne's romance puts them at risk. Priest Frank tries fleeing the island, but Malcolm stops him. Frank has had enough. Freedom seems worth dying for in this suffocating regime. Quinn confronts Fionne in a rage and kills her. Jeremy arrives with a gift only to find Fionne's lifeless body and Quinn waiting for him. They fight savagely like wild dogs. Jeremy fatally stabs Quinn in the neck, but the wily cultist survives and frames Jeremy as a cold-blooded murderer. The wounded Quinn shouts like a beast and orders the guards to capture Jeremy. Thomas and Andrea hear a loud voice. They see Jeremy coming towards them and he is captured by the guards. Quinn orders the execution chamber readied, a brutal device of iron gears and knives disguised as a divine justice. Jeremy keeps struggling for his life. Andrea pleads to save her brother's life, but Quinn shows his neck wound, twisting the story. Power here needs no truth, just spectacle. Quinn, playing a judge and an excellent barber skills, executes Jeremy in cold, mechanical horror. Quinn declares himself the true founder, pushing Malcolm aside. He challenges Malcolm. If Malcolm is truly divine, he must kill Thomas to prove his sacred authority to the people. Faith now demands blood. As Malcolm approaches to slit Thomas's throat, an explosion echoes. The crowd panics, scattering like startled sheep in a collapsing pen. Seizing the chaos, Thomas escapes, bolting toward the secret hut where Jennifer is caged. Freedom's window is cracking open, but danger still breathes. Inside, Frank is shot by the monstrous, enslaved guardian. Thomas hides in terror, witnessing a scary show few would believe without losing their mind. Thomas finds the imprisoned goddess, a decaying woman trapped in roots. The monster feeds her blood, fueling the island's unnatural fertility, a grotesque economy. Jennifer hangs nearby in a bloody bag. Thomas frees her, his voice shaking, finally reaching the sister he crossed oceans for. But the monster attacks them, knocking Thomas unconscious. When he wakes, he is tied in a meat grinder, a machine of religious devotion and punishment. Thomas, summoning desperate strength, breaks free and fatally overpowers the monster. For the first time, he is not just surviving, he is dismantling their system. Crawling to the goddess, Thomas sees her human pain. He sets fire to the roots, torching the belief that bound her and the island. The hut ignites. The burning roots signal the collapse of the cult's foundation. Malcolm watches the flames with a strange, quiet approval. Quinn hears the turmoil and the goddess's death cries. Thomas confronts him in the forest. Their final showdown drips with vengeance and exhaustion. Andrea and Jennifer seize a shotgun, but it jams. Quinn overpowers Thomas, but the woman attacks him, finally strangling the fanatic to death. Breathless and bleeding, they sprint toward the boat. But Thomas, collapsing from his wounds, knows his time to escape has run out. He urges Andrea and Jennifer to go without him. Thomas lies on the hill, his blood soaking the earth. Malcolm finds him, and when he sees as his blood drips, then he smiles wickedly. Thomas smiles back faintly. They observe nature flourish unnaturally. A twisted serenity hangs over the ruins of belief and rebellion. In every faith, in every cult, the question remains, what are we truly willing to sacrifice to protect what we love? Thomas crossed oceans, not for glory or power, but for his sister. He did not find a god on that island. He found the weight of loyalty, the cost of freedom. Some lands only bloom when fed by the blood of the brave. And perhaps that's the cruelest kind of faith. But what about you? Would you have crossed that sea? Would you have fought when the price grew unbearable? Or would you have turned away? I want to hear your thoughts, your views, your questions, your doubts. Share them below. Until the next time, think carefully and choose wisely. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notifications for the next brilliant videos.